Hey, friend, you're listening to Shut Down, Not Shaken, a special mini-series of the At Ease podcast. I'm your host, Cristin Candice, and this space is for anyone navigating uncertainty, especially Black women who are leading, loving, and rediscovering themselves in the in-between. And even though the government may be shut down, we don't have to be. Each episode will explore what it means to lead, create, and rest with intention, even when life or your paycheck hits pause. Now let's take a deep breath and find our ease. So I've been wanting to pick back up this microphone again for at least 18 months. And here's the thing. When the shutdown hit, I could have immediately been fearful. And oftentimes when I'm afraid to do something, I freeze. But I chose to see this as an opportunity. So today I want to talk with you about productivity. Not the kind that burns us out, but the kind that aligns with our values, especially when everything is paused. So, yes, like I said, for a year and a half, I have carried this idea, this desire. I wanted to relaunch, to reengage, to find my voice again. But life, return to office mandates, workload, doubt, if I'm being honest, all got in the way, or I allowed it to get in the way. And then the shutdown happened, and suddenly that external noise, the demand, it all paused and space opened up. And it's not because things are getting easier, but because the world around me forced a reordering. And even that reordering doesn't mean that clarity came immediately. I'm not even sure that I'm clear now. It meant I was at a decision point. I could stay stuck, stay waiting, wait for things to be perfect until I had the perfect outline, ideas, recording studio, marketing plan, or I could use the pause and begin now. And that's where reframing productivity comes in. Because in seasons of uncertainty, my default oftentimes, is to do more, dig in harder, hustle faster. But that tends to lead to burnout, frustration, and misalignment. So I want to share some of the things that I've been reflecting on or have learned over time. For context, might be my first rodeo in an actual shutdown in my 17 years of federal service, but I was also let go on April 1st. And for about 2 months, didn't think I had a job. We ended up getting called back, but I had some practice this year with a pause and had some time to do some reflection and think about my lessons learned. So, number one, productivity is more about alignment than it is output. One of the shifts that I'm making in my mindset is reframing that productivity isn't about how many tasks I check off. It's about whether what I do lines up with my intentions and my values. So when I report, so when I record this podcast, it's not because I have to, it's because I need to. I need to create, to connect, to serve. That means some days I'll do less, but what I do will be more meaningful. Number two, I honor the pause as part of the process. I flow with it instead of fighting against it. The shutdown paused systems. I'm learning to pause with them, to let rest, reflection, and stillness be a part of the creative process and the work that I do, not something that I try to squeeze in like random lulls in time. But what I'm learning is that in that pause, that's where all the good ideas come. Clarity reveals itself. That's part of the productive process too. And as a federal worker, it has been a really challenging year. I'm exhausted. I went from being in a completely remote role. For context, the role that I'm in, the staff that I supervise, many of them have been remote for over 10 years, okay, in those positions. And so going from being in a remote role to sitting in 3 hours of traffic a day just to sit in an office that is under construction and still manage my team remotely because I'm the only person who lives in this area. I am fully embracing this pause. Something else that I've thought about is my life as a runner. I don't run as often as I used to, but back in the day, I basically ate half marathons for breakfast. Like, I loved running. And I still do, just my knees ain't as good as they used to be, right? But something that I noticed as I was learning to run, as I was getting into like the whole racing culture and all these things, and on Saturdays I would go out for these long runs, I often saw people with their AirPods or, you know, I was running back when iPods were still a thing. Everyone had their music. They had their playlist, like what worked for them in their run. And what worked for me was having no music at all. I loved hearing nature, listening to my breathing, getting in like a rhythm with finding a rhythm within myself, if you will. And there were some people who thought I was completely nuts, but that is where I got my best ideas. It's why when you're in the shower, right, you have these aha moments, or when you're on a long drive, when we can pause and be with our thoughts, we're able to create gold. Number 3, I track my energy, not just my to-do lists and my tasks. I'm starting to pay more attention to when I feel alive, when I feel depleted. And if a task is draining me, maybe it's not the right, or maybe it's not the next best step for me. If a smaller action feels more energizing, then that's what I tend to double down on. Productivity in a lull really means listening to your inner engine, not feeling pressure to push the gas and force it. Number 4, small steps really do equal big impact. I could wait until I felt ready to relaunch. But what I've noticed, and this is only day 3, is that you really gain momentum by starting somewhere. The conversations that have been created in just 2 days, I could not have fathomed or imagined. So maybe you write a paragraph, maybe you send one message, maybe you try an experiment. Um, in a conversation with a friend, she reminded me of Adrienne Marie Brown's book, Emergent Strategy, that's what this is. It is trial and error. It is give and take. It is seeing what feels good, what lands, what sticks, what's received, and getting that feedback and pivoting as a result. Those small steps, when they're guided by your values, they compound. And number 5, I lean into my why. I'm leaning into my why during this pause. Why did I want to restart the podcast? It's because storytelling, connection, and creating are really part of who I am. When we reconnect with our why, the smallest acts feel productive because they carry purpose, they carry meaning. Let this time help you clarify your why and lean into it. And so, of course, I have some reflection questions for you. You can journal about these or just think about them. What would productive alignment look like for you in this season? What small step could you take today that reminds you of your purpose? In what ways are you forcing productivity? And how might you lean into ease instead? I mean, literally on Thursday, just a few days ago, I was lying awake thinking, am I too late? Are people even going to listen to this? But I really got a sense of like, girl, just do it. If not now, then when? So I picked up I picked up a mic, I plugged in the headphones, and I began recording one reflection, one thought, one conversation with a friend at a time. And even though it is still very imperfect, I still have no idea what I'm doing, and that's okay. That's how I have worked to begin reclaiming my voice again. And my question to you is, what are you doing to reclaim yours? Leave a comment and let me know how you are reframing productivity. Thank you so much for spending this moment with me. My hope is that you feel a little more ease, a little more grounded, and reminded that even in uncertain times, you still have power, purpose, and choice. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and if the government is still shut down, I will see you tomorrow.